What's up, guys? Simone Fan 101 here, and this is my part 2 of my Royal Rumble 2018 review. My hiccups for the moment are gone. Whether or not they'll come back, I don't know, but for the moment they're gone, so be happy about that. It's later in the day, the same day I'm recording, but as of recording this, later in the day, from the upload of my first of part 1. So let's just get it out of the way, shall we? So last time I went over, I briefly, you could call it brief, but let's face it, the first part 1 went a lot longer only because I had hiccups and it was pissing me off. But I briefly went over the pre-show, what I thought of the matches. I went over the first 3 matches, which was Styles, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the Usos against Gable and Benjamin in the Men's Royal Rumble match. If you didn't see part 1, just a quick, you should have seen it, but just for the sake of clarity, if you didn't see part 1, Styles, Owens, and Zayn. Styles beat him. What was a pretty good match, despite the handicap stipulation of the match. The Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, I thought was a pretty good match, just marred by the slight weird booking of the 2 out of 3 fall stipulation. Started out well enough, but then it kind of somewhat fizzled out at the end, depending on the booking. The Men's Royal Rumble match, I thought, was the best Royal Rumble match in years, probably since 2004, and that's a feat unto itself, because since then we had some pretty great Royal Rumble matches with 2007, 2008, 2016. Some of those matches. In 2005, let's not forget 2005, of course. Yeah, let's now we get on to the other 3 matches of the night. And I made part 2 partially because my last video went a lot longer than I wanted it to, most likely because of the hiccups. Thankfully, these first 2 matches I'm about to mention are relatively short, and I can easily cut to the chase. The next match after the Men's Royal Rumble match was the Raw Tag Team Championship match with Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, who are the Tag Team Champions, going up against The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. Now, going into this pay-per-view, much like Kevin Owens, and much like Tommaso Ciampa the previous night at NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, Jason Jordan actually was going into the pay-per-view with a legitimate injury. Even though he had just become Tag Team Champion, he was going into the pay-per-view hurt. So they created a story to try to help mediate that fact. Of course, when Jordan came out, he came out to a rain of boos. Rollins started off the match, and it was basically, much like with Styles and Owens and Zayn, it was basically a 2-on-1 handicap match for the most part. In terms of the moves, I mean, this wasn't a bad match. Let me get that out of the way. This was not a bad match. Let's just get out of the way what happened. Basically, they had a bunch of moves. Really cool. Rollins finally fought back. Finally got the tag in on Jordan. But what happened was, earlier in the match, to sell an injury, Sheamus rammed Jordan's head into the post. So, or was it Cesaro? Huh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Sheamus. No, Cesaro. I know Al, because Cesaro was up against Rollins in the ring, and then so Sheamus was up against Rollins in the ring, and Cesaro posted him. Okay, never mind. But he posted him in the face on the outside, and of course he was selling. I guess he was selling like a head injury, like a concussion. So he tagged in, was about to go after, I believe, Cesaro actually, But he had to tag right back out because the guy is like a concussion. He's hurt. And Rollins is understandably pissed, and pretty much has to fight Sheamus and Cesaro on his own. They hit they eventually took him over. Seth Rollins got hit with the assisted white noise, and it was pretty good. However, there was one. There was a lot of work put into it by Rollins, and of course, work by Sheamus and Cesaro. And I like the selling that Jordan did. You'd think this would be a lot higher in terms of rating, right? There's one problem with it. It even got some time, like about 13 minutes or so. But there was one problem with the match. They had to follow up the men's Royal Rumble match, the same men's Royal Rumble match that had guys like Roman Reigns and John Cena, who the crowd universally booed and chanted, "You both suck" at, and guys like Nakamura, guys like Finn Balor, the main roster. Yeah, it was probably one time, but the main for now. But the main roster debuts of Andrade Cien Almas and Adam Cole, the return of Rey Mysterio, the return of the Hurricane, as short as it was, the Heath Slater thing, Baron Corbin beating the shit out of everybody after getting eliminated, Sheamus getting eliminated in like 2 seconds. A bunch of things happened in that match. And they had to follow all of that, and the amount of energy the crowd had. The crowd was tired after that match. There was no way these guys could follow up. So yes, the work was really good, but working in near silence really showed, and it actually hurt the match in a lot of ways because they weren't reacting to a darn thing. That was the reason why I thought that the pay-per-view should have opened up with a Rumble and ended with a Rumble, whether it was the women's or the men's. Didn't matter. They should have opened up and ended with a Rumble, so that way they could still have enough energy for the crowd to cheer for the other matches. So good. It was good work. Just hindered by the fact that it had to take place after the best match of the night, as it turned out. Next up was the WWE Universal Championship match. It was Brock Lesnar defending the title against Braun Strowman and Kane. Out of all the matches on the show, this is the one I was least interested in going into it. I was even looking forward to the Bobby Roode US Open Challenge more than this, and yet that was disappointing all in itself. The match itself, I thought it was actually... Now, these guys got time, but not a whole lot of time. These guys went about 11 minutes. I even timed it, too, because I was timing it with the guys, and I'm like, this can't be that long of a match. So I even timed it. I checked my phone what time it was, and it was 11 minutes long. At least. 11:05, 11:10, doesn't matter. 11 minutes. So instead of working the kind of triple threat match that, say, Lesnar worked with Cena and Rollins 3 years ago, ironically enough in Philadelphia. Whoa. Ironically enough in Philadelphia, I had some food earlier. Pretty good, actually. Oh, no! Oh, guys, my hiccups are back. Shit. Just watch, the next one's gonna... Yeah, see, there it was. I'm glad my hiccups stopped, and now I'm mad they're back. Okay, let's get this shit over with. Now I'm mad again. Jeez. Glad I have some water here. So what I like about this match, it wasn't that kind of match. It didn't start up slow and then, build its way, which is what some triple threat matches tend to do. This one was pretty much a fight immediate. immediately off the bat. They knew that, I'll bet you because of who was involved, they knew that this match wasn't going to be, it couldn't be a good technical match, so they had to bring in the Extreme Rules aspect. They are in Philadelphia, after all. So, a lot of shit happened off the start, and this is where a lot of spots happened. Kane hit a choke slam on Brock Lesnar. You know, I think it was like the outside. I think maybe to the outside. I don't know. No, it wasn't the outside. He tried to hit I think he tried to hit a choke slam. I think he did hit a choke slam. I'm forgetting already. Lesnar at one point brought in a chair. He took out Kane, but then Strowman straight up punches the chair. Now, before I continue, I have to mention this, and they even replayed this. There was a couple stiff shots from Strowman and Lesnar to each other. Strowman at one point kneed Lesnar right in the face. It looked like he kneed him pretty good. And then Lesnar, almost immediately afterward, followed that up with an MMA-like right fist right into Braun Strowman's face. It was awesome. It was wicked looking to look at. But it was awesome, and I loved it. It made it feel a little bit more real, like these two guys wanted to actually murder each other. So, Brock, Strowman threw Brock into the barricades, attacked both Lesnar and Kane with steel steps. Of course, Strowman pulled out the tables and got him in the ring, and set him up on opposite corners of the ring. One, he just set up straight against the corner. One, he actually set up the table itself. Strowman chokeslammed Kane. Brock came back, hit several Germans on Braun Strowman, but then Strowman, pretty much afterwards, immediately picked up Lesnar for a power slam through the table. I mean, somewhat safe, but consider who's involved. Brock Lesnar. But it still looked like it went through. Kane then came back in. He put Strowman through a table in probably the worst way possible. Strowman was going to go for a power slam on Kane through the table that was propped up in the corner. Kane got out of it and pushed him through the table. Problem? It looked terrible. It almost looked like Strowman ran himself into the table for whatever. Even the commentary had to say, it looks like he kind of knew it was there. He couldn't stop himself. I guess he had to run for it and deal. They acknowledged that there was a fuck up. Kane then got a choke slam. Only got a 2 because Brock, got it. He hit a F5 on Kane. Strowman broke it up. Hit a German suplex on Block. He had a German suplex on Brock, which was, I even said to my friend Mark, that was less of a German suplex and more of tossing Brock aside like a freaking wet rag. He then threw Brock into a barricade. He took apart the announce tables. Brock, though, fought back and even F5 Strowman through an announce table. And the way it was taken down was just brutal. Brock then, a la Strowman from SummerSlam, took one of the announce... Now, yeah, the announce tables are soft, but let's ignore that. He took the announce table and threw it right onto Strowman. Well, maybe not right on it. It kind of missed part of him, but they shot it afterwards in a way where it looked like it was completely on him. So, good for them for doing that. Kane came back in the fray, only to get F5'd onto another table. It didn't break at first, but then it actually then collapsed. So at least they kind of got it. Strowman then came back up like the freaking boogeyman. He threw the announce table aside like it was yesterday's trash. He then power slammed Brock, but then Brock, as he was starting to get back up, he power slammed him again. I think he was going for a third one, but Kane came in and hit Strowman with chair shots. Finish came when Kane, I think, was going for a tombstone on Brock Lesnar. Brock got out of it, pushed Kane into Strowman, who was on the apron. Strowman landed on the outside of the ring on the floor. Then Brock did hit another F5 to Kane and pinned him for the win. I knew going into this match that Lesnar was going to win, and I knew that if he's going to win, the only way he can do it is by pinning Braun Strowman, by pinning Kane, because if he pinned Braun Strowman, it would be absolutely stupid. There we go. I thought this was a good brawl. This was to me was fun. Partially because, let's face it, I had very low expectations going into the match because I thought it was going to suck and probably not go that long at all. The fact that it went 11 minutes is a feat unto itself. I didn't expect it to go that long. I was expecting 8, maybe 9 minutes, not 11 minutes. Yeah. With that said, I thought it was a good match. I know not everyone agrees. I know some people didn't like the match. I can totally understand why, but I personally liked it. Post match, of course, Braun was yelling at Brock because he didn't beat him. Let's hope this does not lead to a match at Elimination Chamber. Next up was the main event. It was the 30 Women's Royal Rumble match. This is the second time that a women's match has main evented a WWE main roster pay-per-view. The first time was technically it was a year and a half ago, but going strictly by years, it was 2 years ago. It was the Charlotte... Hang on. Sorry, some spit. Had to get it out of my gums. The only other match to main event women's match to main event a pay-per-view was Charlotte and Sasha Banks at Hell in a Cell in 2016. This was immediately after the brand split started. But yeah, Maria Menounos was out. She actually did the ring announcing, and look, and on one hand, unlike most main roster, I should say, ring announcers in WWE, she actually showed a lot of passion. Probably because she wasn't being told to do it to act like a robot by the WWE executives. But on the other hand, she's absolutely awful at doing it. She has passion, but not the experience. She made the announcing for 5 different people. For Stephanie McMahon, and I think they even talked to McMahon like she started, like how she helped start the women's revolution, which, by the way, Stephanie McMahon didn't do jack shit, and to do that. She then called out Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Then she called out number 1, number 2, which was Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, as turned out. They actually lasted much like Rusev and Finn Balor. These girls, I should say. Let's see, these guys. These girls actually probably had the most amount of in-ring time, more than any other person in this match. And not everyone in here went more than 10 minutes. I have Wikipedia up to confirm that. But some of them did go past 10. Some of them, a few, even went past 20. So Banks came out, and it wasn't until later in the match when I figured out she was wearing Wonder Woman-inspired gear. And Becky Lynch was also wearing new gear as well. Of course, Sasha Banks' Wonder Woman gear doesn't surprise me, considering her hero is Eddie Guerrero and Eddie's best friend, Rey Mysterio, of course. They had a little bit of nice back and forth, going for submissions and whatnot. Number 3 ended up being Sarah Logan. There wasn't so much in the way of spots or something like that. This match was not as good as the men's Royal Rumble, which is why I advocated the men main eventing, but I can see why the women main evented, even especially because of the post match. Number 3 was Sarah Logan of Absolution. Oh, you know, not an absolution of the Riot Squad. By the way, they keep coming out to Paige's theme music, which is absolution. They need to create different theme music for Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. So Sarah Logan came out. She took control. Banks at one point even saved Becky Lynch from elimination, only to get headbutted right in the head. Well, it's called a headbutt for a reason. Number 4 ends up being Mandy Rose, who, of course, is a beauty. She came out, not really did a whole heck of a lot other than the normal coming in. Number 5 was the first of many surprises in this match, because the main roster, they do not have 30 women on each. They do not have 30 women to do a 30 women Rumble match. They have. Hang on a second. My mom's saying something. Okay. Okay. Kind of doing something here. Sorry about that. I'm about to watch the movie Get Out with my parents. This is going to be the first time I'm watching the movie, so I guess I should try to get through this. Anyway, number 5 ended up, because, like I said, the Royal Rumble match the Royal Rumble match for the women, they do not have 30 women total to put in this match. So they had to call. So a lot of women called in. They had to call out some, but a lot of women called in. So they were eventually able to get 2 NXT stars, much like the men's Rumble match, and a lot of old Hall of Famers, or even if they weren't Hall of Famers, just former women's wrestlers or personalities. So why I say personality? I'll get to that. Number 5, out came Lita, who I mentioned to my friend, Lita? She's a lot bigger than I remember her looking. Especially, like, if you watch Raw 1000 when she had the quote-unquote match with Heath Slater, she looked in great shape there. But now, yeah, granted, it's been 5.5 years since then, but now, she looks bigger. Now, I think she's like in her early 40s. She's like 42, 43. But for a wrestler, she's getting up there in years. And, you know, she was a lot bigger than I remember her being. She went in there, and by the way, some of the offense that the women had against her was laughable. Probably because she is old for a wrestler. Lita came in, eliminated Mandy Rose, eliminated, well, I'll get to who she eliminated next, because she hasn't even come out yet. She eliminated Mandy Rose. She, hit a couple moves. But you can tell, like, say Sasha Banks, there was a moment she was kicking Lita in the corner, and it was supremely obvious that she wasn't really hitting her. Lita wasn't the only surprise in a row, as it turned out. Kairi Sane was number 6, and I think they used her old music, which, look, not that I hate her old music, and I might be in a minority on this, but I like her new music better because it just seems better for her. I like the old music, but it does seem way too princessy. Now, I get she's called the Pirate Princess for a reason, but I mean, come on, she can be pretty serious. It's not a bad thing. I just prefer the new one better. So there's Kairi Sane, who came out to a bunch of cheers. She didn't eliminate anybody, which is sad. And I'll tell you why. Out next came... Oh, by the way, before I should continue, out next came Tamina. I'm just going to say that right now. But, then, Kairi Sane hit elbows on people, which was awesome that the main roster got to see her top rope elbow finish. They even said it would make Macho Man proud, and would. Lita then went up top and hit a moonsault off the top rope on 2 different women, one of which after she hit a twist of fate. But yeah, she hit a moonsault. Keep in mind, and keep this in mind, Lita almost killed herself, literally. She almost landed right on her head. Like, she almost landed on her neck. She barely hit the move. She hit it, and it was awesome, but... ah, jeez. She barely hit the move. I was afraid for this woman's life. Lita ended up getting eliminated by Becky Lynch. Kairi Sane ended up getting eliminated by the woman that came up next, Dana Brooke. That one deserved a hiccup because I'm just like, ugh, why? I thought it was stupid. Lita, yeah, so Lita eliminated Tamina, Becky Lynch eliminated Lita, then number 8, Dana Brooke came out, eliminated Kairi Sane, and I thought that was so stupid. Why couldn't you just do the whole Andrade thing where you could have Kairi Sane in there for a good amount of time, working with some of the current and past women? Really? Of all people, Dana Brooke? I like Dana Brooke. She's an athlete, and I like the things she's doing with Titus Worldwide, but come on. She hasn't done anything serious in a long time. Number 9, the oh-so-beautiful Tori Wilson. And by the way, I'm surprised how hot Tori Wilson is. Tori Wilson, it's on the table, Mom. But yeah, Kairi Sane, not Kairi Sane, but Tori Wilson, I don't know, actually, let me look it up. How old is Tori Wilson? I'm curious. She's got to be in her 40s. There's no way she's still in her 30s. Yeah, Tori Wilson is 42. And man, this picture of her from 2010 does not make her look good. Because, and that's 2010. And she was definitely in her early to mid 30s. But she's 42. The woman looks really good. Like, not good in the ring. Because let's face it, Tori Wilson was never a good pro wrestler. She was always a pretty crappy one. But that's not why she got big. She got big because she overlooks her Playboy career and the fact she had a storyline with Sable about just that. Who did better in Playboy. No, I am not shitting you. That actually did happen. Look it up. So yeah, Tori Wilson came out. She attacked several people. Again, she was never a good pro wrestler. Case in point, the drop kick she hit on one of the people. It was not that good looking, but it didn't matter because that's not what Tori Wilson was all about. She was never a good in-ring pro wrestler. That would be the next surprise, which I'll get to. Number 10 was Sonya Deville. She came in.
I need your help. I don't know how to hit.
Hang on, guys. Recording the video. Hey, don't worry, I'll come back after I'm done recording. Sorry about that, guys. Apparently my mom completely forgot about the other remote. She's like... My mom can be really weird about that sometimes. Where she clearly knows how to do something, yet she completely forgets. She's gonna be 60 years old later this year, so let's give her a little bit of a break. It still pisses me off, but, you know, gotta be patient. Back to the review. Sonya Deville came out, attacking everybody. Nobody got eliminated here. Well, except one person. Deville eliminated Tori. So again, so it was good. She came back for a little pop and then got promptly eliminated. So you know, that was for the best. Oh yeah, by the way, Dana Brooke got eliminated by Tori Wilson. Yeah, after the Kairi Sane elimination, I will admit I needed Tori Tori. I needed Tori. I would want Tori, but I'm not going to get that, aren't I? But yeah, she eliminated Dana, which made me very happy. And then Tori got eliminated by Sonya Deville. Out next came Molly Holly. This made me happy, because I'm like, I remember Molly Holly being a good in-ring wrestler. I mean, she didn't always have the best matches, but that's just based on how she was booked. In terms of actual in-ring skills, Molly Holly was always good. She ran wild. She even went up top and hit her, like, it was like the somersault, it was like a oh God, how can I describe it? It was a somersault, like a somersault senton almost. Now, and unlike with the Lita thing, I can see Molly Holly doing that, because first of all, Molly Holly is not nearly as out of shape as Lita was. Lita was out of shape. Let's face it. Face facts. Lita was out of shape. Molly Holly is only 40 years old. She's younger than Lita, and on top of that, on top of being younger than Lita, Molly Holly still looks in really good shape. So she did her somersault senton on Sasha Banks, which was really cool to look at. Number 13 was Lana. She came out with her music. She got chants of Rusev Day. You knew she was just smiling on the inside, like, man, look how over my husband is. Look how over we are, period. And it was really at this point that I noticed something. A little later on, I'll get to it in a few minutes. Lana was being attacked by Liv Morgan. Wait, Liv. Hang on a second. I think I skipped someone. Yeah, I did. You know, going through my notes here, I skipped Liv Morgan. She came out after Sonya Deville. Sarah Logan came out. Oh, no, hang on. I'm sorry. Something's wrong with me. My mom's probably gotten me off my medication. Yeah, she came out after Sonya Deville. Then Molly Holly came out. Then Lana. Then number 14. Oh, yeah, I gotta say something about number 14. Yeah. So, number 14 ended up being, so, hang on. Lana, before I go to number 14, Lana ended up, oh, shit. God, I hate these hiccups. Oh, jeez. You see what I mean? I hate the hiccups. It ruins my train of thought. How long is this video going? Oh, shit. 33 minutes? I wanted to go shorter than that. Okay, guys, just bear with me. Bear with me, please. So, out next, came, number 14 was Michelle McCool. Yes, Michelle McCool, the part of Laycool with Layla. Of course, as we kind of expected, commentary called her one of the greatest in-wing. Oh, geez. I would like to be in a wing. You know, like chicken wing. But they called McCool one of the greatest female wrestlers in WWE history. She is my most definitely not. In fact, she was to me, she will always be known for in WWE for two things. One, for being so skinny at one point that there was actually a health issue for her because she was way too skinny. And two, for the whole Piggy James angle. And all that shit. I hated that. But Molly Holly was eliminated. Michelle McCool eliminated a lot of people. She eliminated DeVille, Liv Morgan, Molly Holly, and Lana. As it turned out, she eliminated all those people. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, let's face it. The only reason why they call her one of the best WWE women's wrestlers of all time is because she's married to The Undertaker, of course. And hell, when eventually at one point she got Undertaker chants, which was hilarious. So yeah, Michelle McCool tossed out a lot of people. And it was really at this point, I gotta mention it now, or else I'll never mention it. It was at this point that it was obvious that a lot of the women, they kept on going in and out of the ring, like under the bottom rope. Unless it was for storyline purposes or for the purposes of the match, I mean, none of the men ever did that. I mean, Balor and Rusev did, but they were attacked by Baron Corbin, and Heath Slater never even got to the ring. But there were several instances when you wouldn't see Sasha Banks or Becky Lynch or Naomi or anybody else in the ring. Because they were outside on the floor. Why they were outside on the floor? I have no fucking clue. I have no clue why they were outside on the floor. That to me made no sense whatsoever. It just made no sense. Number 15, out came Ruby Riott herself. By this point, of course, I think Sarah Logan was already out. Was she out? Let me check. Brand my ass. Yeah, Sarah Logan was already out. She got eliminated by Molly Holly. Michelle McCool came out. Then it was Ruby Riott. Yeah. Oh, jeez. She came out, didn't really do all that much, which is weird because Ruby Riott was one of the better wrestlers going into the match. Number 16 was Vicky Guerrero. Instead of coming out to her Los Guerreros theme song that she left on back in 2014, I think. Maybe it was 2013, but definitely 2014. She came out to loud yelling of excuse me and monologuing, and all four women in the ring, which were McCool, Lynch, Riott, and Banks, they all proceeded to eliminate her. And of course, my friend, and mainly Derek, they made fun of her for being so fat, even though I straight up told them she's not really that fat. It's just that they're constantly surrounded by all these hot chicks in WWE. It just makes her look fat, but she really isn't. Number 7, they tossed her out. Number 17, Carmella. Carmella was mocking Vicky Guerrero to the point where Vicky took her briefcase and laid her out right in the back of the head with it. Like, knocked her out for a moment. Number 18 was Natalya. She dropped her coat on Carmella, which was hilarious. But then Carmella attacked. Number 19 was Kelly, who, much like Tori Wilson, never got by on how good she was in the ring. She got by her looks. Because Kelly, like Tori Wilson, was never a good pro wrestler. She got better, but for so long, Kelly got the term of a shitty in-ring pro wrestler. Tori Wilson was even worse. And it showed when Kelly and Michelle McCool tried to work together back and forth. It was rough to watch. It was sad. Natalya then went on to eliminate Michelle McCool. Finally, the McCool train was gone. Number 20 was Naomi. She had a Hurricane Rana on Natalya, and of course an ass attack on the others. Lynch, after hitting after hitting a missile dropkick and some exploder suplexes, eliminated her after about 30 minutes. And I was sad, of course. But at least it was someone like Ruby Riott, who is a heel and is also from SmackDown, so it was good. Number 21 was Jacqueline, who on commentary they said she's one of the more tougher women wrestlers, which actually is kind of true. She was one of the tougher ones. She came in, attacked everybody. Number 22 was Nia Jax. Nia Jax ended up eliminating Jacqueline, then eliminated Kelly. Ruby Riott tried to attack her, but then got press slammed right into the turnbuckles and eliminated her. That looked like it hurt. That was a cool spot. The press slamming her on the turnbuckles. Naomi came in, and was promptly powerbombed straight to hell and got eliminated. She didn't get eliminated because she did the Kofi Kingston spot where a bunch of the women that Nia eliminated caught her. She went on the barricade, went over to where, and I know this goes past another entrant. I'll get to that in a second. But she went over to where Maria Menounos was sitting. Maria, by the way, seemingly not even interested. I don't know whether or not they did this on purpose, but seemingly she wasn't even interested in the match. She was on her phone. I think she was even taking a selfie. Which, by the way, for someone who supposedly is a big fan of WWE and announced for the women earlier in the match, it was really insulting to see that she was on her phone, not even bothering to pay attention. That, to me, was just straight up insulting. So Naomi came around, basically jacked Maria's chair. Then, unlike the Kofi Kingston way where she rode it on a pogo stick in 2013, Naomi then used her feet, put it on the chair, then used her hands to basically crawl toward the steps. She got in the ring, did a high crossbody, and then got eliminated immediately by Nia Jax. So, great save for an elimination, great spot, but it apparently did nothing for Naomi. Number 20, and this was right when 24 was about to come out. Number 23, NXT Women's Champion Ember Moon, who was all taped up from the previous night after she got her arm nearly broken off by Shayna Baszler. She attacked Nia Jax, only to get tossed across the ring like a rag doll. This was when Naomi came back in and got eliminated. Beth Phoenix was number 24. This was not even Beth Phoenix's first Royal Rumble match. That would be back in 2010 when she kissed the Great Khali in order to eliminate her, only to get GTS'd by CM Punk and then eliminated. This was during CM Punk's Straight Edge Society days, which I love. So yeah, Beth Phoenix came back. She, unlike some of the other weapon. Okay, unlike Lita, unlike Michelle McCool and Kelly, and even to a certain extent Molly Holly, unlike all those women, Beth Phoenix looked like she was out of time. And by that I mean, like, it looked like she looked just as good in this match here than she did when she left the company, which was really nice to see that she actually looked good. She tried to hoist Banks up on her She tried to hoist Nia Jax on her shoulders. At one point, even getting her on there, and almost eliminated her. But then Nia Jax fought back. Natalya came in. They were both best friends. Storyline, of course, and they probably are best friends in real life. But they're best friends after they send Jax through the ropes by, like, I think it was like a double tackle or something like that. They hugged. Natalya then turned on Beth and then eliminated her. I would be mad, but I'm like, don't worry, man. We have the 2010 Rumble appearance and eliminating the Great Khali to remember her by. So we're good here. Number 25 ended up being Asuka. Carmella, like a little bitch, ran from her. That didn't last long as Moon rolled back in the ring. Of course, Asuka and Moon have history. They hit a back and forth. Moon, despite only having one arm really to use, hit the Eclipse. Yeah. Hit the Eclipse. And then Asuka pretty much no-sold it and then eliminated Ember Moon soon afterwards. Much like Adam Cole, I should say, Ember Moon did not last long in her spot. Now, unlike Adam Cole, though, I had a big problem with Ember Moon's elimination, particularly the Eclipse. The Eclipse is supposed to be this devastating maneuver. Shayna Baszler was taken out for several minutes because of it the day prior, or the night prior, I should say. And then all of a sudden, Asuka no-sells it and then just eliminates her. I found that to be re-fucking-ridiculous. Number 26 was Mickie James. She ran wild, then Asuka pretty much said no to that bullshit. Number 27 was Nikki Bella. Nikki, of course, coming out. Of course, and by the way, Derek brought his kids with her and with him. Two of them were girls. One was a boy. Of course, the girls were rooting for Nikki Bella. In my mind, I'm just laughing at them. And of course, and I didn't laugh at them like in their face. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, you're so stupid. Nikki came in, hit a disaster kick on Natalya, which, by the way, does not look nearly as good as when Cody Rhodes does it. Carmella hit the Bronco Buster at one point on Nikki. Nikki then fought back and then promptly eliminated Carmella. And then, of course, Asuka went after her because that's the fun thing to do. Next out came Brie Bella, who, unlike Nikki, because when Nikki came out, she got somewhat booed, and then she got chants of John Cena sucks. Then Brie came out, she got cheered, and then got the yes chants. It's like it's like who's the more over couple in WWE? Nikki Bella and John Cena, or Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella? The company would have you think John Cena and Nikki Bella, but not the case. It'd be Daniel and Brie because they're idiots. No, they're not. WWE is, I mean. So yeah, that happened. Nikki and Brie worked over Natalya. Number 29 ended up being Bayley. She attacked the Bellas, and she attacked everybody. And once again, like every other woman, it was a theme. They would run wild, and then Asuka would say no to that shit. Number 30 ended up being Trish Stratus. When earlier in the match when Lita was eliminated, I was mad that there wasn't any back and forth between Trish and Lita. But after she came in and attacked Natalya and the Bellas, she then went up face to face with Mickie James. And of course they preluded to their WrestleMania 22 match, which actually was a great match. I had a lot of fun with that match. Mickie hits the super kick. She countered the head scissors at one point, but then Trish eliminated Mickie. Speaking of head scissors, I almost forgot to mention this. Remember when I said Kelly was not that good and that was rough? What I meant by that was that Kelly tried to do a head scissors. It took forever just to get the head scissors thing on Michelle McCool. It was rough and it was sad. Note to self, if you're a bad pro wrestler, don't try to do head scissors because all you'll do is you'll embarrass yourself. So yeah, we had the last women in the ring. Trish, she didn't look as good as Molly Holly or Beth Phoenix, but I thought she looked good enough. Clearly she's still in shape. She, like some of the other women, are in her 40s. In fact, Jacqueline might be the oldest of them. Let's check her age. Oh God, not only is Jacqueline's 54 years old, and yet she still looks like she's in great shape. That is freaky to me. Nia Jax got the roar spot when all the women were all over her, and then she promptly threw everybody aside. But then eventually everybody did eliminate Nia Jax. Then Sasha Banks eliminated Bayley, proving further credence that nobody cares about Bayley because, well, yeah, nobody really does care about Bayley after the way WWE booked her last year. Natalya attacked Trish, which would have been a really good feud back in the day. She even locked on the sharpshooter. Trish got out and then eliminated Natalya. Then it was Sasha Banks and Trish Stratus, and of course, all I could think about was, remember when they were constantly in WWE talking about how Banks was like, Trish Stratus, Lita, I was only a little girl when I saw them. I'm like, ugh. Those were horrible promos. But the way WWE's writing them. But so that's what it reminded me of. Trish even pulled a heel thing and mocked Sasha Banks, but then Banks cut the bulldog off and then eliminated Trish, which made people sad. Then Asuka, Banks, and the Bellas were faced off, and then Then Sasha Banks, in a weird sense, turned heel and attacked attacked Asuka into the corner, and basically she and the Bellas were working all over Asuka. Banks went for her double knees, but as she was going for her double knees, the Bellas eliminated her mid-air. She lasted 54 minutes in this match, which is the longest time by far of the women's, and only a few minutes shorter than Finn Balor. Then, the Bellas tried to fight Asuka. Asuka ended up kicking the shit out of both of them. Brie almost got eliminated, but she landed on the apron. Nikki then hit Asuka with the TKO, and then proceeded, it was TKO, but it was really they called it Rack Attack 2.0, but what are we talking, but what are we shitting ourselves, it's TKO. And then eliminated Brie Bella, Nikki did. And I love how the commentary was so like, why would she do that, it's her twin sister. Do these idiots not remember a few years ago when Nikki Bella had the line of the year saying, I wish you died in the womb? Remember that shit? WWE doesn't. They don't want you to remember because they think we're idiots. Asuka then went up top, hit the missile drop kick, and both of them eventually found themselves up in the apron. Nikki tried to do her forearm thing. Asuka was on the floor, the ground of the apron, and then kicked out Nikki's legs for the elimination. Asuka wins the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match. I gotta tell you, not only was it, you know what was it wasn't surprising an Asuka won. What was surprising was the fact that going into it, basically, they had two Japanese wrestlers win their respective Royal Rumble matches. I thought that was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. There were some bad things about it. For example, the work between Kelly Kelly and Michelle McCool was just awful to look at. I understand what they were trying to do, but again, it was awful. I wish Beth Phoenix lasted longer. Kairi Sane should not have been eliminated by Dana Brooke. It should have lasted a heck of a lot longer in this match. Asuka should not have done the no-sell to Ember Moon's Eclipse, which was stupid. So there were some dull moments in this, and there were some dull moments in this match, but it was still a great match, despite the fact, because of all the returns, and the fact that it was the first one, and the fact that some of the women really, really tried their best. The layout, in my opinion, was a big reason why this match worked so well. The one thing I'm curious about is, what woman did they have to return? Because remember, Alicia Fox was originally part of the match, but then was taken out because she got hurt. I want to know which woman replaced her. Which woman ended up replacing her? Which one was it? I'm curious. I'm really curious which one replaced her. As sad as it might be, maybe it was Lita. Maybe it was Lita, because Lita seemed very out of shape. And if you knew a Women's Royal Rumble was happening, you would work out for that. That's the only one I can come up with, as sad as it is. Now, in that case, I'm glad we didn't get Alicia Fox, because all she would have done was make the match worse instead of better. The match was better without her in it. I feel bad for Alicia, but as far as the match goes, it probably would have been better without her in it. It was still a lot of fun. Even though the in-ring stuff wasn't always the best, it was a lot of fun to see a lot of old faces. Post-match, she was asked by, I think, Renee Young, who would you pick to win, to face? Would it be Charlotte or would it be Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania? We heard music. We heard music then of the UFC music, I should say, of Ronda Rousey. Rousey came out wearing a. Ronda Rousey came out wearing, as later I would be pointed out by, she was wearing Roddy Piper's old jacket that her son and daughter, I think, gave to her, and because she was a big Roddy Piper fan. She went in the ring. She pointed awkwardly at the WrestleMania sign like all these other deer in headlights people do, because of course WWE's insane. Asuka, she wanted a handshake. Asuka pretty much slapped her hand away. Rousey again points at the sign. And then, yeah, Rousey again pointed at the sign, awkwardly. Went over to shake Stephanie McMahon's hand, and, I don't know what this is leading to, whether or not this is leading to Rousey versus Asuka versus Stephanie. It would be cool to see Rousey versus Asuka. But I think Asuka should go for either Alexa Bliss or Charlotte. Personally, I think she should go for Charlotte just because that's the match we all want to see more. With Alexa Bliss, you could easily put her in with Ronda Rousey if you wanted to. Give her a big rub with a big name. The one thing I will say about this match, Stephanie McMahon, aside from a couple moments here and there, she was honestly very harmless on commentary. She didn't really add all that much except for her own personal experiences with some of the women, mainly the returning women. But aside from that, it was harmless commentary from her. So yes, that's my review of the match. That's my Royal Rumble overall pay-per-view review. Sorry this went as long as it did, but okay, getting the hiccups back and being distracted by my mom definitely played a part. So with that said, guys, be well, stay safe, have a good day. I'll see you next time, guys, with my with whoever wins my Royal Rumble contest, with my random drawing and talking about plans about the future. Till next time, guys, peace. I'm out. I'll watch this pay-per-view. It was a really good to great pay-per-view.